Oh no, not that. Not a bad day. Not a time to imbibe in something that is dangerous and gross. I know, I saw Body Worlds and how they have, when you have smoke, when you have tar and shit in your, it goes in your muscles. It's that disgusting. We had successful shit to clean up. At least it's just my dog shit. Not human shit. Not the human shit. Because it's easier to deal with dog shit than somebody who loves you implicitly. Is it time? Is it time? Somebody who has cute disease. Man's best friend for a reason. For a reason, I woke up with my dog sleeping on my back today. It made me feel comfortable because it was the first time I woke up not thinking about anybody but myself. My big bad self. Not thinking about my son, not thinking about that crazy trial that I saw where a woman had to be dragged through the mud and I had to watch it in toto to absorb everything that really happened. I don't want to feel like I'm turning on somebody when I look at somebody else's life who has been destroyed by narcissism and they don't see it because they don't want to see the whites of their eyes. Because they lied. They lied. She didn't know how to claim what was going wrong with her. She didn't understand how to explain to people she had personality disorders because nobody explained it to her. You made fun of her in London Fields for it. That was a fact. We can rewind that art of cinema to the throwback to those old times, those old patriarchal times before Mein Kampf. Let's go back to Cassius Clay, before Mein Kampf, before whatever Lenin wrote to. I don't know if it was before Kant, that cunt or not. But that existentialism is probably the only philosophy you should know about, because you're all going to have existential crises eventually. Just like my son did. I made him have one. I caused that boy to break. I broke him because his grandfather broke him and wouldn't let him cry. So now he knows how to cry all by himself in his room. Finally he can get it out. Hopefully he can get it out with his wife or his spouse. That's my hope, that I broke that of him. I broke that family violence so that he can see exactly who he is. Just like he's made me look at myself, take a long, hard look at myself, and wish I'd never met his daddy. Boy, I wish I'd published that book in 2003 instead of 2013. Then I would have had Tales of the Uncontrollable Cunt published too. Back when I could have been. Back before I met his mother, that I held back publishing that book out of respect until I got none and realized, well, I'm stuck in a domestic violent relationship that I cannot get out of. What can I do? What can I do but write about my pain? Write about what's driving me insane because I did not understand narcissism, borderline. I was told I was borderline. And then I had a psychologist that thought there was something wrong like that with me and never told me what was wrong. And then after I had brain surgery, I said, look at me, look at me. Look at me, look what I can do now that I'm healed. He couldn't believe it. That's when I used to fuck my husband up on the 134. Those were the good old times. The good old times when it was me that was crazy, not him. Not him, not him. Not him until the last day he died did he admit to his faults. You ruminate over things whether you like to or not. Trust me, I know that Evan's about to ruminate a lot about all the things that she had to go through, and she needs somebody to hold her hand. Because this is going to be painful. What some of these women are going to say about her is going to be painful and bad. And I don't like it because misogyny, there should be something called misandry. It's misandry for women. Too bad, too bad. Too bad, too bad. There aren't enough women that see their intrinsic value as breastfeeding mothers. They get to be breastfeeding mothers too, Evan. I can't think of another person like I can think of you. I don't want to have another muse like I have you. I've chosen to be a photographer in the way that I am a photographer, a fine arts photographer, not a paparazzi, not somebody disgusting who looks at people. Well, I look at everybody like green peppers. What can I say? Especially them gallery girls, because they're green peppers. There's some green peppers in that, especially when they belly dancing. And they belly dancing in Christmas. Christmas is a good time. I wish I could watch you on New Year's Eve or on Halloween. I wish you would glamp with me and trust me enough to say, oh, here is your phone. We can leave it behind. And now I trust you enough to know that you do not have to talk about me ever again online at all. You can just talk about yourself and some of the things that you experience as a brain damaged woman, instead of bringing me into my life, bringing anybody into our life at all. At all, I have made my final judgment. Boy, when I sat here and I thought about what you said, it pissed me off. It really pissed me off. Because you're right, it set a precedent. It should have set a precedent for women. It should have set a precedent to show the power struggle between a man and a woman in today's society. But it didn't. Instead, it showed the disparaging way that a woman can be abusive and not even know that she is psychotic and crazy because she has not had those personality tests done yet. When did he have them done? That's what I want to know. Why didn't he think something was amiss their wedding day? Oh, she hit me on my wedding day. I'm going to put up with this shit. Because I'm in it to win it. I want to be one of those devoted husbands that's going to follow my wife into the pits of hell. Or actually, I want her to take care of me as I age. Think about that. Think about that narcissism. You have to have somebody half your age because you know you're going to need to be taken care of eventually. And you don't want to end up like Marlon Brando all by himself on his island without even his children because they were dead. That's how you fear. That is one of your greatest fears. How do I know these things? I watch on the wall because I've had to watch for that dead dragon to come back to life and come attack us. And put up that Jon Snow flag saying, that Jon Snow kite saying, yo, there's something wrong in Rotterdam. Somebody had to put up that kite because, whoa, that kite had to be flown really high in this Los Angeles sky that is really blue today. Today it is blue in some places. In other places it's yellow, like on the west side. On the west side. Yes, it's more yellow over there. Surprise. Surprise Elon Musk can't get that asshole to shake his hand with some kind of poison in it. What is wrong with people? What's wrong with them? I don't get it. I'm sorry I have to have violent thoughts from watching all this violence all my life, participating in violence from the time I was 4 years old and saw my daddy cleaning brains out of a car. Or was I 3? I think I was 3. Because my sister was fat butt back then. Fat butt because she wore a diaper. Hi, Coco-san. Who's a good girl? Life is complicated and there are so many different layers to it. You don't understand what it's like to get in front of a courthouse. It is scary. It is frightening. And that woman did everything she could to try to find an identity that she could not find in herself because she has been narcissistically abused her entire life by a system and a society that has looked at her as an object. She sees herself as an object. She does not know how to see herself any other way. It's sad. That's how my mother was. She had to have something grow outside of her womb because she was too afraid to break that puberty look that society demands of women looking anorexic. Look at Evan. Look at her flying her kite in a slim fashion. That red engine that's gonna be like an anorexic red engine with all them unicorns on it. And that rainbow that we get to fly every pride parade we can. As many different kites as possible to represent solidarity in bisexuality and sexuality and LGBTQ, whatever. I can't do it anymore because I done lost it after LGBTQ or something. Brain damage, it's the gift that never quits giving. Never quits giving, Evan, never quits giving. Too bad, too bad. You can tell when I'm not right in the head, because I'm not right in the head. And I'll say stupid shit and do stupid shit, and you'll be like, that's out of character. That's not Catherine Elizabeth Clay. There's something rotten in Rotterdam. We better get that shunt fixed. We better check those ventricles, 'cause she probably needs 2 shunts. One going in each ventricle that goes down through her spine instead of into her brain. Because invasive procedures into the brain are dangerous and should not happen at all. At all. They showed Lance's surgery and how they stabbed all the structures around it, and I had a heart attack because they were not using microsurgery. They were not carefully tearing into those structures. They were just stabbing it like this. Evan, I have been through hell. When I was shocked, that was just the beginning of the pain, and I understood exactly what was in store for me, just like you figured it out. And nobody else wants to talk about it, because nobody else wants to see the writing on the wall. The writing on the wall, and the way that you need to talk to somebody else who is not a therapist, who is somebody that can love you. And you do not have to be scared. And you can put up your boundaries. And I can put up my boundaries. Because definitely have my walls too. The wall comes crumbling down when the wall comes tumbling down. Yeah, that John Mellon came from Indiana. That Hoosier. One of my favorite stories growing up was when I was doing my diary and my friend Diane Saez fell in love with a guy from New Zealand, and they came for a visit, and he had red hair and he was so beautiful, and I got a picture of them on a frog that I made before they had software to break photographs into cubes. I did it by hand. I did so much work that you do not see yet, because I have not had it programmed yet. I cannot afford to program it yet. My husband refused to program it. I don't know why. I wish he hadn't. I wish he believed in me more than he believed in the company that he developed 11 websites for. If you are irreplaceable, you are impromotable. That's why he made $58,000 a year for 11 years. On multi-million-dollar websites. Oh well. People like that get away with crime all the time. All the time, all the time. At-will employee. No, he wasn't. He was a slave. He was a slave. He was a slave. He was a slave just like I've been a slave. Just like everybody's been a slave. And you can't see it. Because we freed slaves. We let everybody go. And then we made even more slaves because we turned people into sex slaves. And then turned their desires and their freedoms and their abilities. I met an old Hollywood whore. I tried to teach her how to squirt, but I could not touch her pussy. I was letting this guy, whoever he was, show her how to squirt. I don't even know if I could squirt with him. I was so nervous. I walked in there, she had a stripper pole, and I swear to God, she had $1 million worth of dresses hanging in her closet. They all looked like Alexis from Dynasty. She was cut so beautiful. I wouldn't doubt it if she's still alive. still alive and thriving, just like that Dr. Susan Black, who doesn't have a cock. I sat there and I pulled the cancer out of her husband's belly, and he's still living. Surprise. Am I grateful? Yes, I'm grateful for that, Oprah. I am grateful that I can give that kind of level of understanding and take away that bad energy, because that's what cancer is. It's a stir up of energy that you don't understand. That's part of your nervous system. Part of it is, I know I helped my sister heal too, even though she was so mean to me. I had helped her heal before she had to have my DNA, had to have my bone marrow, because I was her bone marrow donor. She went into remission. As soon as she went into remission, so did my grandfather. I showed up when he was pulling his tubes out of his chest and running down the hospital way, and I showed up and he was like, oh, there's my granddaughter, here to take care of me. I took care of my grandfather. I could not take care of my grandmother. And for that, I would live every day regretting that. Because my husband did not want to move to Kentucky because he did not want to take care of my grandmother there. He did not want to see the intrinsic value of my family on our life. Instead, he wanted us to be close to his family. Oh, why doesn't she want anything to do with her sister? Because her sister likes to think about her students when she's having sex. That's disgusting. That's a level of vomit-inducing, disgusting child pornography that people need to have on Facebook accounts so that we can all keep account of these people who want to look at children, like Mark Zuckerberg looking at my son and all those dirty FBI agents and everybody else that could look at my Picasa account. Those fucking dirty cocksuckers turned me into the Long Beach cops because I was doing I'm squishing your head, because Cassius was in front of me and just watching TV, and I thought, haha, put it on his balls, squishing your balls, haha. Nobody else found it funny. Nobody else found it funny. I know Robert Mapplethorpe would have, because he understood the natural beauty of children and how to leave them alone in their natural states and respect their boundaries, just like I did my son. One of my best friends said, I have of all pictures on my website of my children, and you don't have any. You only have yourself. Well, my son said that a long time ago, that the only reason I put pictures of him up was to get likes of them. And I saw, I don't think it was Sally Mann. Was it Sally Mann? I don't remember. It was some woman who had 3 children who hate her now. Hate her because she used them to do seductive photographs and sold them off to child pornographers who thought that it was okay in the name of art to exploit a child. Surprise! Children grow up. Children grow up, and children cannot protect themselves. They were trying to protect themselves from their parents because they didn't know any other way of being. That's how scary it was for them. That's how much they had to mind their parents, because there was something going on. I know how my dad treated us, and I know how frightened we were of him. And maybe they used kindness, just like all them Harrises are doing with my son. Treat him with kindness. Kill him with kindness. Kill them with Kim Kardashian kindness for Christmas. The Holocaust special, Kim Kardashian. Just for those Russian dignitaries. Those Russian generals. So they don't realize that they're the only ones get it. Why do I have to be one of the most dangerous people on the planet? Why do I have to talk sense to all of you people so that there is something that is not rotten in Rotterdam? It would be nice to wash off the stench of Auschwitz. It would be nice to blow that place up so we could get rid of the stench of those fucking ovens. That's so disgusting. My friends went to Dachau and Auschwitz and they said they could smell it. That's fucking disgusting. Russia smells like 850 years of blood, piss, shit, and death. It smells so gross. When I came home, I opened my suitcase and I got a big old whiff of it and went bleh. It was so disgusting. It's so disgusting compared to the sterile environment of America. I saw my babushka in her больница. That's a hospital. Она лежит там, и nurse есть gloves. The nurse had one set of gloves for 8 people. My sister and my mother had cancer and they changed those gloves neurotically. So I was disgusted when I saw that. When I saw that. All the germs that go from one person to another. Gross. That was my babushka, who got pissed off when I stayed in a hotel one night with a Russian boy. Oh, that slut, get her out of here. What did I do wrong? I was with a Russian boy, and they say that Russian boys don't like American women. Surprise. Surprise, there was one that liked them and called her Rusovka. Rusovka. Katya Blue Rusovka. How I love being that mermaid. Rusovka. I Lagushka Budishishvinicha. And Lagushka Budishishvinicha. A traveling brogue. A traveling brogue who likes to go from place to place. She wants to go with her Evelyn so that Evelyn is the stork. And they have the traveling brogue going to all these places for women. And we can do Cinderella too. Cinderella too. Cinderella for women. Cinderella for princesses. The princess was looking for a glass slipper. Cinderella too. There we go. Look at that. Look at that change. Look at that change right there, David Tennant. Look at that faggot. Look at that Snoop Doggy Doggo. Look at that poet. Look at them thoughts. Yes, I know. You're evil. You're vicious. Stop barking. Go, go. Go, go. No, no. No, no. Love. 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 Trying to teach her how to say I love you. Like her mommy spoke. I miss her mommy. I miss my dogs. Oh well. I gotta take care of myself the best way I can. I gotta rewrite my book. I started to rewrite it because Amber 2.0. Wow. Angelina Jolie. And they don't talk about rage fits. What is the percentage of rage fits that men have on planes? And then they are narcissistic rage. Look at that, surprise. Somebody has narcissistic rage fits because he doesn't know how to express himself in a dungeon. Yes, everybody needs to work it out in a dungeon. In a sex club, like Claire Decide. Like I got busted my ass for an hour and then got flogged for an hour. To my husband, I said, "Why'd you stop?" He goes, "'Cause my arm started to hurt." It's like, you pussy. You fucking pussy. You couldn't keep flogging me? What a pussy. It feels good. It hits that sympathetic nervous system in the fascia, in the microfascia. That's why it loosens all that stuff up. Just like having a rhizotomy, getting your nerves ablated. I know, I got my nerves ablated last week. I used to get my nerves ablated and go camping the next day. Or that day, I can't even remember. Can't remember anymore. I've gotten so many rhizotomies in my life. They make me feel human. I think everybody should have one by the time they're 40, so they can stand up straight and hold up them big old saggy Oprah Winfrey titties. I have to pick on Oprah because I have to show my gratitude for her the best way I can. And hope that she has that Dr. Ruth kind of loving from her boyfriend. Her boyfriend who loves her like a teenager. I'm glad you got to spend time with your family, getting to know them during COVID. Just like you got to know that Prince William. I really do hope I get to be president. I hope I just live and breathe long enough and stay on a path that's right for me so that people can see the intrinsic value that I can unleash on this earth myself. How I have myself. How it's taken me 40 years to write everything that I've ever wanted to say in my life. Starting from when I was molested. The beginning, the genesis of it all. My dad hates me. He says, all my lies, they're lies. I don't know if they're lies or not. I just know that I always had my husband do taps on my pussy, and I can remember my dad looking at my mom saying, "She'll never remember this." Children remember things like that. It happens. It happens, especially when you're autistic and you can remember being born, being made, splitting atoms, making eyeballs, seeing the cancer grow next to you, slowly and surely, and it scared you because you knew it was going to have something to do with your body, yourself. I would not doubt it if a lot of women who have arachnoid cyst babies have cancer too, because that's what my mother had. When you tie off your tubes, you make all those eggs fall down into your fallopian tubes, and they have nowhere to go, so they sit there and they rot, and they start to rot around how many years? How many years does it fall? 30 years? Are you 30 years old when you do it, and then you go through menopause when you're in your 60s? It's better to have your ovaries taken out for certain, if that's what you're going to do. That way you do not have all of that deposit into your body that is rotting. You want to have as little rotting tissue in your body as possible. You want to get rid of subdural hematomas from doctors that know what they're doing. Doctors who have a success rate that you can follow, that you can see. Dr. Duma only messed up on me, I'm sure. I'm sure he has never fucked up on anybody else but me. It's a shame it had to be me, because of what I had to contribute to society. And he knew what I had to contribute to society. He read my book because I dedicated it partially to him. Because without him, I could not have done Tales of the Uncontrollable Cunt. Because I could finally think, after being held prisoner in a body that nobody understands what it's like to have too much pressure, and then have your ventricles open up and get weakened, and understand what it's like to feel your brain split into pieces. It's awful. It's awful to be this sensitive, to understand people at the core of your being, so that you know everything. So much stuff that you can't translate because it's painful, because your brain has multiple sclerosis and you don't have myelin sheath around your nerves that are in your arachnoid membrane, where your arachnoid cysts are, so that the sheath and the electrical circuits are, all circuits are busy and they get hot. And your amygdala, my amygdala is damaged, so all the circuits that go into my amygdala are hot and make my amygdala hot and cause my amygdala to do things that it shouldn't, and that I feel bad about afterwards, because I understand that something happened that shouldn't have happened, that I can't stop from happening when it has, because I have compulsions that I cannot change. It sucks to be this ill and know exactly what's wrong with you, and not have characteristics of some of those personality disorders, however, have brain damage that you understand, that you carry with you, that you try to explain to people that are not ill, that have regular brains, that take those thoughts for granted. They take those thoughts and those feelings and those sensations and those five senses that you have. That I love Charlotte Bronte because I love to read her books. Jane Eyre is one of my favorite books to read because it enlivens all of your senses. It makes you think of the sky. It makes you think of eating pie. It makes you think of touching somebody intimately. It engages all your senses that I cannot recall everything. Not like I can with Dunya, with Pushkin, the Shakespeare of Russia, and Gogol, who wrote The Nose. There's my nose. Well, there's my cunt. There goes my cunt going through St. Petersburg. Surprise. Surprise, surprise. Surprise. I did not include enough photographs from St. Petersburg and tales from the uncontrollable cunt. Surprise. I need to. For certain. They called me up and said, yo, you need $1,500 more if you want us to distribute it. I was sitting there going, oh, really? You mean I get to distribute it myself? You mean I can spend, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000 to get Tales of the Uncontrollable Cunt off the ground? Surprise, why not? Especially after what Inks and Bindings has not been doing for me. They were supposed to have a website up for me, but they did not. On Friday. Oh, pay my bills, pay my bills. No, I'm not going to pay your bills anymore. I've done paid your bills, and you refuse to pay my bills. You refuse to do what I asked you to do, or refuse to do what you told me you were going to do. Now I have to go get myself all pretty, looking nice, so that I can do something for my book. To sell it off, so I can say, look at my pussy, ha ha. Billy Piper, you thought your photographs were bad. You should see how little my husband's dick was compared to what it ended up being. Man, it was massive. I'm glad we had 3D printers so we can fucking copy that, but I got to put plaster cast on that dick. It was hard. It was hard to do. I should bring that out. Look at what I made with my husband when we were alone. I had to do something. I had to moralize his penis somehow. I did. I did. That rock star penis. Well, I gotta have some rock star penis around me. I gotta figure out how to get all this stuff worked out. I gotta go back to school. I'm gonna try and do that in November, I think. And still try and do what I can. A ha-ha club tonight. Can I go ha-ha it in this skirt? Can I rock it? Maybe. Boom, 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 boom. Do, 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 do. Herbie Hancock. Do, 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 do. Rock it. You know, life is so short. So short. But not for these two new babies that are going to live to be 150 to 200 years old, especially knowing that their brains, now that Cassius's mother figured out that their brains need low-level circuits and zero gravity so that the tissues do not degrade as fast as they should with gravity. Surprise. Surprise, surprise, somebody has to think of chemistry. Somebody has to think of biology. Somebody has to think about how to change the world. My son does not want to be that person. Too bad, too bad. Too bad he's that clay. Too bad he had to tell me to fuck off. It hurt my feelings in the way that he did. I wish I never had hurt feelings. I wish him well. I wish him to have the happiest time he can. But I hope to God he does not have his girlfriends around his grandfather. Because his grandfather said some disgusting things about having students and thinking they were beautiful and having fantasies about them like my older sister did. Please do not let your grandfather around your girlfriends. Please go hang out at their house. Get away from your grandparents as much as possible. I wish you had your license. I'm sorry I did not get you your license, boy. I'm sorry I did not get you your passport. I wish you could have talked to me, but you don't want to ever see me again. I'm so hateful and mean. I don't blame you. I broke you for a reason. I broke you because you couldn't cry. And those people that you're living with now are the narcissists that put you there. It wasn't just me, it was them too. And you snuggle up to them, but you don't snuggle up to them like you did me. Too bad that's all I have are those old memories to keep me warm at night. I'm glad you weren't the first thing I thought about this morning. I'm glad I can let go slowly. Slowly let you go like you have been letting me go, but still cyberstalking me because you need your mommy. You don't realize it. Your mommy is not the enemy you think she is. Too bad you do not see that yet. All the people that you think are your friends are hard to be your friends. If you stand on your own 2 feet, you can see everything that you need to be. I hope to God you go and travel after you're done being educated in a Burbank high school that I did not want you to be educated in. Too bad you did not go to culinary school where I thought you would be happier. Too bad. In some dimension, we're still friends. Maybe in one dimension, we can make up. One day, maybe. I don't think you'll ever want me in your life again as long as you live. Because of all the things I said to hurt you. To try and break you. To try and make you cry. Because you couldn't cry. Ever. And I don't want you to be like your dad. Who couldn't cry in front of me until I found him raping me. You don't understand what that violation was like, honey. You'll never understand it. I hope. I hope that you have healthy relationships with all the people that you connect with in the future, much more than you ever would with me, because people cannot tolerate how I am. And that's something I have to live with myself. Something I have to live with myself, because I'm not one of those people that needs to run out and get a bunch of new friends and find a bunch of new people to supply me with gratitude and feelings that I can't find deep within myself. The hurt that I feel, the pain that I feel, I'm telling people now because I don't want to feel these feelings when I am with somebody I love. I want to be able to express the sensual part of myself. I want to be able to know somebody intrinsically like this, so that they understand that I understand that if they're having a trauma day and they need to trauma bond, we can trauma bond and we can talk about the pain that we're suffering from without having to be frightened of our feelings or how we express ourselves to each other, and respect those boundaries, because it's hard. It's been 5 years for me, and I've tried to have one relationship that did not work out. I was going crazy and bouncing around and trying to figure out who I was, and he did not appreciate it, and he had not been with anybody for a long time. So he did not feel like being abused because he could abuse himself. There's this funny Russian joke. They say that you can be wrapped in a cunt or fucked by a dick. The Russian's so funny. And this guy says, why don't you go to the doctor? And he says, I'm either fucked by a cunt, or I'm fucked by a dick, or I'm wrapped in a cunt. And if I'm wrapped in a cunt, I'm fucked. And if I'm fucked by a dick, I can fix it myself. That makes me laugh. And I love to laugh. That's all I really want to do. But I can't help but not ruminate sometimes and just think and be gratitude and be mindful of what I've been through, what my love has been through, and appreciate the air that whispers her name to me. I never wanted to care about somebody else. Not the same way. Certainly not that way. Certainly not to the detriment of myself, of my own life. Because there has to be boundaries between things that you do not need to be a part of. Just like I do not need to be a part of some of the shit that you do, that I do not want to be a part of. Because I do not have the energy to dispense on bullshit. I would rather write beautiful things and go to beautiful places and be tender and sweet and loving and kind and generous with every part of my spirit and soul that I have left to give and share with whoever can appreciate it. I want it to be that heaven. I want it to be my Helen of Troy. Saved by the Trojan horse. My Aphrodite. My Venus was her name. Wow! You should sing that on Halloween. She's got it. Oh baby, she's got it. I'm your Venus. I'm your pimp desire. That's you, baby. Sing that song for me. all the things that I have been through to put me in exactly in the spot where I need to be now. I might not be the right person to say the right things all the time, but I feel deeply and I care deeply, inwardly, as inward as I can, as inward as my body will let it happen. Oh, heaven. I can't wait to get that strap on. I always love saying, fuck me with that big black cock. Even to the white boys. It always makes them confused until they look down and see they have on a black condom. Oh, that's a good joke. That's one I could tell at the Ha Ha Club. Oh no, you gotta tell clean jokes. I don't want to. It's not fair not to be funny and tell dirty jokes because people want to laugh with adult situations. Surprise. I mean, people were laughing when I said this book is about my mother dying. They started laughing. This one's about my dead husband. What's wrong? And then I sit there and I get angry and I talk about them having nipples and they're just like, oh, she's right. Oh my God, these nipples, they work. I have milk ducts. Yes, you do, asshole. You have milk ducts at work and you get to use your titties. Surprise. That's what I need to say tonight. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha, well, look at me, ha ha. Look at me in a flapper dress, with my arms flapping in the wind and my big old back titties. My big old back titties and in the roaring 20s. Roaring 20s that need to change fast. I knew they could change. I said when Donald Trump took office, we could change things in 3 weeks. I just didn't think it would take a pandemic. Like Bill Gates watching them make that weapon with the DOD. I was talking to another lady who, you know, of course, they're pro-Trump, and when they're pro-Trump, they're pro-Trump. And I'm like, he's a rapist. He's a rapist. Oh, he made up for it. Oh, did he get down on his hands and knees before God and say, beg you for mercy? No, he didn't. He's not born again. He didn't baptize himself in a trough. Like me. Like me as a Southern Baptist, I did it so I wouldn't kill myself. Surprise. Surprise, I probably should have gone back to church so that I would not feel this way about myself. Too bad, I did not listen to other people. Too bad I have to experience life for myself and do things the only way I know how to do them. I need as much help as I can get, and I don't get it. So I need to figure out something else to do for myself. I have so many things. I don't even remember when my MRI is. I think it's this week. I have to have an MRI of my back so that the doctor can check and make sure that this shunt is working. Too bad they don't know about how they did a shunt series in jail. Without my consent, they did not ask me if they could do it. They just did it. Oh, she has a shunt. Let's do a shunt series. Oh, she needs hydration because she has a shunt. Let's put her in jail. Let's send her to hospital jail because she has not been through enough jail yet. Then watch a woman die because she wasn't getting her medication like a court-ordered court order, and they didn't have enough nurses to take care of the women. They only had enough places for the men. So we were stuck, and she could not make a phone call. And she was in so much pain, and she had cow pieces in her heart. That's how new her heart was. She was like, my chest is going to come open, and a cow is going to come out. I'm going to have a cow in a minute. There's nothing that makes you feel more weak and vulnerable than watching somebody suffer needlessly because people are cruel and insensitive and think that you have given up your rights just because you've gone to jail. Excuse me, I don't think that you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to remain silent, like I chose not to remain silent. I chose to run my big fat fucking mouth because I am ill, and they took it against me and did a bunch of shit to me. They called me on the phone the other day and said, blah, blah, blah. I said, you knew about the EPO? I said, you mean the illegal EPO when I still had custody of my son that they took out against me? Yes, that EPO. Yeah, that was illegal, and you stole it out of my car. You stole it out of my car, and then you deleted my phone call off my phone because you said that you were texting me where I needed to go to pick up my car. I did not get that text, or if I did, I opened it and did not get a screenshot of it, and it disappeared. Surprise. Because the Kiwanis are closely related to the Burbank Boys in Blue, because you walk into the Burbank Boys in Blue and it says the Kiwanis help the Burbank Boys in Blue. And that asshole has been a Kiwanis for 17 years. Much better to help somebody who's not ill. Be a part of a situation where we think we help people when we just instigate more problems. Fuck. Over and there.